That's great, lovely.
You see, Tommy?
Good.
Sorry, I thought it was only a photograph.
These all are the GLEN staff.
Yeah, just
Do you want to take it back now?
That's great. And right into the camera here now. Okay, that's great. Excellent. Just nodding one sec. That's brilliant.
Just a quick, that's great. Gives me enough to get a nice shot to, as well. I'm trying to get Helen to go to the Equality Authority to push it.
The adoption authority.
It's a great honour to welcome the Minister here today again to what is a historic and momentous occasion for the signing of the commencement notices of this great civil partnership and etc. Act. I can't quite remember all the words in it, but civil partnership, I suppose, for us is the critical one. As the Minister said, this is one of the most historic civil rights reforms since the foundation of the state, and I think it's very appropriate that as we come to the end of 2010, that the commencement notice will be signed, and it makes a wonderful end to a year of fundamental progress for lesbians and gay men. Indeed, I think it is a very moving occasion, because of the very simple act of the Minister putting his signature to these pieces of statute. He is opening up a great and wide vista of opportunities, of celebrations and more secure futures for lesbians and gay men. And also these photographs here that are being taken, and indeed the video itself, these will be a wonderful reminder and a marker of this historic occasion. And I think it will be a great contribution to the archives of lesbian and gay history in Ireland, and indeed to the archives of the evolution of modern Irish society. To conclude, I'd like to thank you all for coming here today, and the board and staff of GLEN. And as this is a legal occasion, if I might just pick out two new board members of GLEN who are Ireland's leading family law practitioners and academics, and that's Muriel Walls and Fergus Ryan. And again, we'd like to thank the incredibly hard work put in by the officials, and I'd like to note that Dara Brannock is here today, and to congratulate her and her team on the great work that they did in delivering this bill and act in such a very relatively short period of time. And also, I suppose, just for the record, and it is to acknowledge all political parties and the role of all elected representatives in delivering this great civil rights reform. So just to conclude again, thank you, the Minister, for your leadership, determination and principled approach on this matter. And as we said when you announced that you were leaving politics, that we would like to wish you all the best, you and your family, as you move into the next phase of your career. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, as always, Kieran gets it absolutely correct. He didn't say I'm retiring. He said I'm moving into the next phase of my life, which is exactly what I want to think of what's ahead of me. But I want to thank Kieran and GLEN for all of the understanding and the lobbying that you did. I genuinely said it when we met in the College of Surgeons, not the College of Surgeons, the place next door to College of Physicians, is it? Next door to Leinster House. That, you know, of all the lobby groups that I've had to deal with, I think you've been the most understanding as regards as to what is achievable, and that you quite obviously are yourselves, you know, some of you may not be overly happy with the extent to which we could go, but I do believe, and I say this genuinely, that the fact that you have got to this stage in relation to this particular piece of legislation, I think it will open doors for future moves in this area, because quite clearly, given the fact that there was nearly overwhelming support for this piece of legislation within the Oireachtas, that it's clear that, you know, the future ahead, particularly with younger people coming into politics, that there will be scope for advancement of the issues which I know a lot of you hold dear. I want to particularly thank my staff, Dara, who's here, and John Kenny, and others who were involved in this. I don't think it's often appreciated, the work that the public service and civil servants do on our behalves. Sometimes it's easy to criticise, and I know in this climate, I said this at the Garda Commissioner's retirement do, it's popular to be critical of the public sector, but we are extremely well served by those people who work in the public sector.
Hear, hear. And
I say that as somebody, you can say that. I say that as somebody who has been involved in the public sector in my working life for 24 years, and particularly as a minister. And I say that as somebody who had a previous life in the private sector, so I can say that, you know, the work, particularly by Dara and John, was immense in relation to this legislation. Equally so, the Attorney General, who had to cast a cold eye on this legislation, you know, very committed to ensuring that it passed muster, as we kept saying, in relation to the Constitution. So I want to thank my other colleagues too, both Eamon O'Keefe and Brian Lenihan, who, you know, came up to the mark in relation to the issues to do with taxation and social welfare, which I was a bit worried that, you know, I was going to pass this bill in July. When I say we were going to pass the bill, that I was going to make sure it was passed in July or whenever, and that then come the 1st of January, various things would not be in place in relation to tax and social welfare, and then I'd be rightly criticised and the government would be rightly criticised if we didn't have these things in place. But I want to thank them as well for what they've done. So I want to wish GLEN the best for the future. I'll be looking with a dispassionate eye on developments, and also just to thank Kieran particularly for the leadership that he has given GLEN in the last number of years. So other than that, I just want to wish you all a happy Christmas. Thank you. Kieran O'Quinn, my advisor, also, who was extremely vigilant in relation to making sure this thing was passed. So, and just look at you, is it?
Just look at me for 1 second here, Bob. Now, that's brilliant, excellent, well done. Almost there, no, okay, 1 or 2 more, that's great, lovely. Now you can go ahead and do it.
Hope it works.
I hope the pen doesn't run out of ink.
Yeah. Okay. And this is the other one. This is section 5. This is just in relation to recognition. Isn't that all, Darren?
That's all, yes.
People looking at me when I'm writing. I make a mistake.
Especially signing.
I make a mistake. So that's it. Okay.
Get everybody in for one quick picture in behind.
Yeah.
So get a bit tighter now, okay? And here we go, last couple of frames, everybody.
United States and America can register relations.
That's great. Excellent, thank you. Is anything recognised?